3 different times.
Tamaya Waiters, all of her appearances this season as a starter, 27 total innings in those 13 starts. So averaging about 2 innings per start.
And she's a transfer from UT Arlington. She's a sophomore. She has a good rise ball, but her best pitch is her changeup around 45 miles an hour.
Caden Henry to lead things off for Texas. The Longhorns in their white uniforms today. Houston wearing the black uniforms. Henry shows a bunt and takes a strike. Terry Holt, the home plate umpire. Mike Burwell is at first. Tracy Laycock is the third base umpire today. Hit high in the air to left, over the head of Janiyah Thomas. Henry into second ahead of the throw. A leadoff double for Caden Henry here in the first.
And it looks like the Longhorns are going to be swinging earlier in the count than they did in the opening day yesterday. She sees this ball. This pitch is actually up and out, and she just drives it oppo, barrels up. And the way the wind's blowing from right to left, it traveled a little bit further into the plate. She's stand up at second. Pretty easy with a leadoff double.
Henry 2 hits last night, including a home run. And now it's Mia Scott who takes the off-speed pitch for a ball. Scott hitting .424.
And we didn't see much small game yesterday. We'll see if they put something on here and move her over to third.
Now, Waiters, we saw that off-speed pitch. It sits in the mid-40s. A big change from the right-hander from the Colony High School in Texas. Last year, 17 appearances, 37 total innings at UT Arlington. She's running. Here's the throw to Essman, and it gets into left field. Thomas will throw home. The throw is offline. The speed of Caden Henry produces Texas's first run.
And this is exactly small ball, just not with a bunt involved. And when you've got a third baseman as aggressive as Jasmine Rollin, she was coming in crashing, and the whole time it was a straight steal. It's a very difficult play to make as a shortstop to tag out somebody that quick, and they're able to score a run here in the first inning.
Texas strikes first. It's a 3-0 count for Mia Scott. And that's low. A double and a walk for Texas here in the first inning.
Part of this is just getting comfortable with the day. It's 20 degrees cooler here today than it was last night when we were playing. Just trying to get a little bit more comfortable in the circle and get a feel for how this game is going to play out.
Jolie Mitchell, 2 for 3 last night. A walk, 2 runs scored, the booming home run. And takes one at the knees for a strike. The Waiters will have a short leash. That's been the case all season. Her longest start, 4 1/3 innings at LSU against Austin Peay 2 weeks ago. Houston used 2 pitchers last night. Nice pitch once again. Mitchell has watched both of those off-speed pitches hit the knees.
Right, I think she was trying to pick something out, and I was looking, Matt, at where she's got herself positioned in the box. She's in the front of the box, a little different than what she was doing last night against Paris Lehman.
Out in front of that, pops it up. Long run for Janiyah Thomas. It's into the Texas bullpen.
What makes this difficult as a hitter is you've seen off speed, off speed, off speed, and now you've just got to trust your hands and see the ball. Try to clear your mind a little bit here and let your hands travel to it.
Scott on first. 0-2 the count. And that's up. Nice reception there from Coleman, who had to leave her feet to keep that in front.
Well, I like the location of the pitch. I mean, you don't want to give up any kind of hitting when you're so far ahead in the count here with a dangerous batter.
The wind is blowing out towards left field. Very windy day, much colder than last night. Last night in the upper 70s, we're in the 50s today, and that's bounced up the middle. Essman keeps it on the infield, flips to seconds. Everybody is safe. Scott took a few steps towards third. A makeable play there, but the flip from Essman was not clean to Boutte.
Yeah, this is a tremendous play by Essman just to keep it in the infield. If she hadn't kept it in the infield, Mia Scott would be standing on third.
Here comes Kristen Vesely and Hope Troutwine. Head coach Kristen Vesely, pitching coach in her first year, Hope Troutwine. Waiters a tough first inning. Double, a walk, now an infield hit. Buckle down here and try and limit the damage. Texas leading 1-0.
I think part of this too is Coach Vesely wanted to change the momentum. They've had back-to-back-to-back runners on for the Longhorns, just changing the momentum a little bit for the Longhorns.
Reese Atwood steps in, and she takes over the inside for a strike. Atwood last night 1 for 3 with an RBI. Hitting .485 on the season, 17 extra base hits, 39 runs batted in. Foul back. Interesting, they're not as deep in the outfield. I would say Kennedy Thomas is a few steps in from where we saw last night, perhaps related to the wind. For most of the game, the Houston outfielders were very deep, even for the bottom of the order hitter, some of the slappers for Texas.
Yeah, and Kennedy can cover a lot of ground out there, so she's helping protect both fields. And they've actually, both outfielders, both left and right field, are kind of playing the line a little bit. Atwood's sweet spot, her hot spot in the zone, is something about belt high, a little bit in, that she drives to left center. Yesterday's double that she hit, she actually reached out and poked it out toward right center field.
High fly ball to center. Thomas is back at the wall, and she makes the catch. Her throw is to third. The tag is not in time. Both base runners advance. Scott to third, Mitchell to second, as Atwood just misses her 11th homer of the season.
And you called that perfectly, Matt. You talked about KT being right out there on the warning track. She gets herself against the back of the wall so she can crow hop, try to make this play at third base. You know, those masks on the front of the helmet, sometimes it does kind of catch the edge of the base and hit you in the face a little bit as a base runner.
Katie Simmons, first at bat of the weekend, her 6th start of the season. She's playing first base. And I think last night, that's probably a home run off the bat of Atwood. We have gusting wind blowing across from right center to left. The wind might have knocked that down.
I agree with you. And we talked a little bit before the game about this is a little bit of a short porch. It's 200 to dead center. It's about 20 foot different than what we see at the Women's College World Series. There's that devastating changeup again.
Another Houstonian in the lineup for Texas. Simmons grew up in Humboldt, north of Houston, went to Atascocita High School.
One of her former teammates, Caitlin Washington, was a great player here for the University of Texas as well.
That just missed. Tamaya Waiters does have a good tempo, Shay. She's working quickly. She's attacking the zone. Missed with that 1-1 pitch, but I think she is attacking this Texas lineup.
I like how she's looking so far, other than the walk that she had to Mia Scott.
Line drive to center. Thomas will play it on a hop. Throw goes to second. Scott scores from third. A line drive single for Simmons, who earned the start tonight and immediately produces for Coach White.
Yeah, this is a great at-bat. She's, you know, it's a 2-1 count. She gets a ball over the middle part of the plate and really barrels up a shot right back up the box. I thought Thomas was going to have the play out in the outfield briefly, and Mia had to read it and make sure it was down before she advanced to home.
Here's Alyssa Washington. Changeup taken for a ball. Washington moves down one spot in the order, hit 5th last night, hit 6th today.
She did have that home run yesterday too that was, I think she knew when it left her bat, it was traveling a long way here in Houston.
And she may have another one here. It's high and deep and gone. Off the due-up side for Viviana Martinez. Second home run of the weekend for Alyssa Washington, and Texas has a 5-run first inning.
The first pitch that Waiters threw to Washington was a changeup. And the way Washington walked out of the box, it was almost like she was just disappointed because she was sitting for something a little faster and she got it. She was able to drive the ball over the left field wall right over Thomas's head and score everyone.
5th homer of the season for Alyssa Washington. She has already surpassed last year's total, and they're going to look at
on the black part of the plate. Viviana Martinez waiting for her chance for this Saturday.
Martinez last night, 0 for 3 with the walk. Still only 1 out. The only out in this inning was nearly a home run from Reese Atwood. She hit it to the center field wall. Kennedy Thomas with her back to the wall made the catch. So a very efficient, very impressive top of the first for the Texas hitters. And that missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, that was maybe a ½ inch off the inside corner of the plate. Really, really good pitch and good effort on both student athletes.
Popped up. Janiyah Thomas in foul ground makes the catch. Viviana Martinez retired. 2 down in the first.
Yeah, I look forward to Martinez getting a little bit more barrel on the ball. We didn't see her really strike a lot of hard balls yesterday. Maybe that says something about what Shelby Smith has got spinning on her rise ball.
Bella Dayton takes upstairs for a ball 1. She had a hit last night, plus 2 walks. 1 for 2. She scored 3 runs. Very productive, hitting 9th. She moves up to 8th. Switching places with Ashton Maloney.
Yeah, she scored 3 runs yesterday in the matchup.
That just missed. Jasmine Rowland asking the home plate ump, Terry Holt, where that missed. He points to his left, indicating it missed outside, not high. Up and in. The first pitch thrown by Shelby Smith last night was smashed off the video board in left center by Jolie Mitchell. She settled in. Now trying to get her team off the field and getting the Houston offense going in the bottom of the first. But she's issued a 4-pitch walk here to Bella Dayton.
And that's where Bella Dayton is so dangerous. I mean, she can bunt, slap, hit away, and has a great eye. And she's a terrific base runner, a spark plug for this Longhorn team.
Now Ashton Maloney. Maloney was 0 for 4 last night.
And Maloney's a straight slapper. She will do everything she can to just pound the ball into the dirt and try to beat the play out at first base. This puts a lot of pressure on the Coug defense.
Runner goes, throw down from Coleman. It hits the runner and stays on the infield. A stolen base there for Bella Dayton. Fourth steal in as many tries for Dayton. She's in scoring position with a hitter's count for Ashton Maloney.
And she got a great jump there. And fortunately, it did come off Bella's hip and kind of stay in the infield a little bit in favor of the Cougars on that play.
That's called a strike. Now Texas 4-1 against the top 25 already this season. 2 wins over top 10 UCLA. Also beat then number 2 Tennessee. Also a top 10 win against Stanford. Now back by Maloney. Houston got its first top 10 win of the season. First top 10 win in 10 years. Last game against Michigan in 2014.
I think that's part of why Texas has just come out with the bats blazing here in the top of the first with 5 runs on the board. They didn't really like how that felt here at the hometown of U of H. But I'll tell you what, Maloney is best with 2 strikes. And Coach White talked about how good she is with 2 strikes. What if we just started with 2 strikes on her every single time? But she sees a lot of pitches, makes the pitchers throw a lot of pitches, and that's the goal of 8, 9, 1 hitters.
Fouls her back. I think she would be the version of Kennedy Thomas in the Houston order. She bats down the order. Thomas is further up in the order for Houston, but they see a lot of pitches, hard to strike out. She led Texas, hitting .382 last season. Slap to the right side. Boutte flips to first, and the inning is over. But Texas gets 5 runs here in the top of the first. Mike White satisfied with his team's.
A little more difficult, lot up in the zone here from Kavan.
Tegan Kavan has been sensational in her freshman season. She had a great fall. Last fall, she struck out more than half of the batters she faced. She's carried that into her true freshman season. Some people's picks for National Freshman of the Year in the preseason. Bold predictions from West Des Moines, Iowa. Already with 8 wins. As she enters Big 12 play, and she faces Lair Boutte, who got Houston going last night with the opposite field home run of Citlali Gutierrez.
Yeah, terrific leadoff, fantastic leadoff hitter.
Takes a strike over the inside. And right now, Citlali Gutierrez, Tegan Kavan are the co-aces. So if you think about managing this weekend, they saved Kavan last night in a high-scoring game for this start. I think many would expect Citlali Gutierrez to start again tomorrow in Game 3. And then after this weekend, Texas heads to number 3 LSU for a big one. You would expect Kavan to start that game. Swing and a miss. She comes all the way back to strike out Lair Boutte.
And that says something about the stuff that Kavan has. She's a power pitcher. She's going to be up in the zone. She also has a really good changeup. She hangs out in the 70s. Lair Boutte is an excellent hitter. That just really says a lot about Kavan. The commitment that she has to her pitches. Also see how quickly she's working in the circle. I mean, there's probably 8 seconds between each pitch, which really helps the defense a lot as well when they're not waiting.
Kennedy Thomas had a double in the first inning last night off Citlali Gutierrez. Later walked, she scored 2 runs. She continues to get on base at a high clip in the number 2 position. There's a called strike. Kavan, sensational, 6.9 strikeouts for every walk. Best in the Big 12. Just 7 walks issued in over 42 innings. Hit back to the pitcher. Kavan has it, overhand throw to first to get Kennedy Thomas.
Yeah, and she crossed Kennedy Thomas up. Thomas is the number 1 hitter for the Houston Cougars right now, and she really crossed her up, was in on her hands with that ball that was traveling a little up in the zone, was able to tie her up and then make a nice throw to first base.
If you're going to get to Kavan, you must do it in the early innings. She had a 25 1/3 scoreless inning streak snapped on Monday against Penn State, but that was the only run she allowed. This is squibbed to short, misplayed, the throw to first, not in time. A rare miscue at shortstop. Viviana Martinez bobbled, picked up by the time she threw to first.
Yeah,
Rowland is aboard.
Yeah, this ball was hit sharply. She's just stuffing her cards back into her glove when she was running out to first base, but she hit this sharply, and the ball just kind of got it. It was an in-between hop. We don't see these mistakes very often by the Texas defense. But that is one of the things that changed the game yesterday. So hopefully that momentum gets a little bit better balance here for those Longhorn fans.
Here's Bree Cantu. 0 for 3 with the walk and a run scored last night. 2 years at Texas, following 1 season at Texas Tech. Now in her 2nd season at Houston. Entered the weekend 6th in the country with 30 RBI. Her RBI numbers have already jumped. She had 35 all of last season. The Houston RBI record for single season is 64. She could break that if she keeps this pace up.
Well, Teagan is being pretty careful with her. She's kept the ball away and then a little bit further out, and then the only other ball that she's thrown caught the black part of the plate. But this is a hitter's advantage here, a 3-1 count.
In the dirt, a rare walk issued here by Teagan Cavan. Only the 8th walk issued. And over 43 innings across 11 appearances.
Atwood and just going to go out and chat with her, make sure she calms down this young freshman. And she's making a lot of adjustments coming from Iowa, actually the same school, the same hometown as Caitlin Clark that we've seen on TV quite a bit. And it takes some adjustment when you're a freshman, not only on the field, but also in the classroom, being away from home, going for your first Big 12 Championship Series travel.
Go on with the Dowling Catholic in West Des Moines, Iowa. As Coleman takes the ball. Coleman, a line drive home run in the 1st inning last night, 1 for 3. Rowland had 5 RBI. Houston a 12-10 win. Coleman was thinking about a 3-run home run there.
Yeah, that ball was up in the zone. Anyone who's played softball knows that rise ball is the hardest thing to hit. If you go to chase, the pitcher knows they can take that 1 step up and even 1 step higher, which is exactly what she did. And occasionally you can get someone to chase.
We asked Mike White about his star freshman pitcher, Teagan Cavan. First thing he mentioned was her composure, how poised she is in the circle. We've talked about her pace. Nice off-speed pitch. He also talked about her variety of pitches, good velocity and good movement.
Yeah, we've seen 3 so far. That hard rise up power pitch. We've seen the screw come in, and then that change up that she just threw to Coleman.
2-2. And she just missed outside. The count runs full on Taria Coleman.
The Cougs will be moving on this pitch.
Coleman into left center. It's hit pretty well. Over comes Henry. Called off, and the left fielder Date makes the catch. Coleman just missed it.
Yeah, she just barely got underneath that ball, but again, it had that upward trajectory for the rise ball. Earlier when I was hanging out with the field crew here in Houston, was swirling in the outfield.
Caden Henry stands in against Shelby Smith to start the 2nd. Henry doubled against Tamaya Waiters. She had a home run off Smith last night. It was an outside pitch, just a flick of the wrist from the star freshman. Solo shot out to left field. Here she's bunting, and bunts it foul. Very late show there from Henry, as you mentioned last night. Home to first in 2.6 seconds.
She's very fast. I mean, if you can get to first base in 2.7, generally you can be safe. I think I got there in 3.7. But if you can get there in 2.7 or faster, generally that's where you need to be in order to make yourself safe.
Good off-speed pitch. Henry down on strikes.
Great pitch there. Keeping the ball down, letting her chase that a little bit. Got her off balance. And you can see that ball down and away and just kind of gets herself committed a little bit to something with a little bit more velo.
Mia Scott walked and scored in the 1st. Texas did not strike out until the final hitter last night. And Bella Dayton, they went the entire game without striking out, and then Paris Lehman, a memorable moment, striking out Dayton to end the inning in a 12-10 Houston win. Smith hits the inside, 1-1.
Yeah, very, very close. And Mia Scott is, I wouldn't say she's right on top of the plate, but I think she has her toes on the edge of the chalk there, getting as close to that plate as she possibly can. Yeah, there's that east to west thing. You know, she threw her very inside that last pitch and then went up and out on that pitch, trying to get her to chase something out of the zone.
Mia Scott, very difficult to strike out. She has walked 12 times this season, has struck out just once. Fouled off.
You know, she's got so much potential. She's so dangerous at the plate with so many things that she can do. She scored already this game. Stole a base as well.
2-2 the count. Smith to Mia Scott. Strike three over the inside.
This is one of those notes that you need to make if you're a pitcher. The home plate umpire is calling that pitch on the inner half of the plate. Shelby Smith just needs to go ahead and live right there. And this pitch is very close. You can see Coleman frame it up perfectly. And she is fired up in the circle.
Here's Jolie Mitchell, infield single behind shortstop in the first inning. Outside for a ball, so Smith has adjusted. She did not strike out a batter last night in 3 1/3. Today she has back-to-back strikeouts of Henry and Scott, two of the best hitters in the Longhorn lineup.
She definitely appears to be settling in today.
Bounced toward short. Essman sets her feet. The throw is late. Infield single for Jolie Mitchell.
We just talked, Matt, about how important it is to get down the base path. And this ball was hit a little bit deep in the 5-6 hole. Really hard to make that play. Sometimes those, as a shortstop, you just tip your hat and put it in your pocket, and Mitchell gets that single.
Mitchell has been the most productive hitter for Texas this weekend. 2 extra base hits last night, a double and a homer, 2 infield singles today. Here's Reese Atwood. She missed a home run by a few feet to straightaway center field in the first inning. This is smoked into center field past the dive of Essman. That was a rocket. Would love to know the exit velocity on that swing from Reese Atwood.
I'm going to guess over 100 on that exit velo. If we could time it up, but she really gets the entire barrel on the entire ball and drives it. Really no chance defensively to make a play on that scorched ball.
Atwood on first, 1 for 2. Now it's Katie Simmons, RBI single into center. Similarly struck by Simmons, a line drive to center. It scored the first run for Texas right before Alyssa Washington hit the 3-run homer.
Just watching Katie Simmons in the box here, her hands and Atwood's hands look very similar to me at the plate, very quiet. Another good pitch by Shelby Smith.
Simmons was a starter 2 years ago as Texas reached the Champ Series of the College World Series last year, 125 at-bats. 125th career game with Texas today for Simmons.
And she reached base last year in 18 consecutive games, 2022, in 18 consecutive games.
Well, that year she showed a lot of power, 9 homers, 8 doubles. And that hits the outside corner, 3 balls, 1 strike with Alyssa Washington on deck.
She's going to be looking at this 3-1 count right in her hot zone, right where she can take the ball and find something to drive. If it's not there, the game plan should be to lay off of this pitch.
Popped up behind third. Esman calls off. Rollin makes the catch in foul ground.
And I think she liked the location of that pitch.
12-10 Houston over Texas. Tegan Cavan was excellent in the first. Worked out of a 2-out, 2-on jam, and now she faces her opposite number in Shelby Smith.
Shelby is one of those rare players that can pitch and hit, and she keeps her head in the game on both sides of the field.
Smith 1 for 3 with an RBI last night. Did not start the season as the DH, has earned this job. They knew coming from Seton Hall what a great hitter she was. But it's a very deep order, and I think as a coaching staff, Shay, you want to give the position players the first right of refusal for that DH role. You want to give the hitters an opportunity to prove themselves, and here we are entering Big 12 play, and her bat is too good to leave out of the lineup.
I agree with you on that, and she's 3-0 in the count to this tremendous freshman that's throwing for the Longhorns.
Now suddenly, Cavan losing her command a bit. She had a walk in the first, another walk here in the second.
And their plan for her is really simple, but difficult. They said Cavan is an up pitcher, so we don't need to chase. And if you can execute that, you can be successful. If you make a rise ball power pitcher bring the ball down, you have a chance to be successful at the plate.
Thomas now drew a key hit by pitch. Texas argued it, saying that Thomas leaned into it with their elbow. The umpires looked at it, and the call on the field stood. That led to the 8-run inning. 2 hit batters, 2 errors defensively for Texas. A team that had not allowed more than 4 runs in a game all season, allowed 8 in that 4th inning, which was the difference of the game.
And I think if Janiyah decides to take one in the elbow off of Cavan, that was a changeup that hit her. I think she'd be more likely to dive out of the way today.
And Thomas takes up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Janiyah last night 0 for 2. Scored a run in that 8-run 4th. Her first 2 starts at home this season after a bone bruise kept her out the first few weekends. A foul back, a player that really wanted to play, and it's tough for a coach like Kristen Vesey listening to her medical team. Thomas says, I'm good to go. The medical staff says you're not quite ready. A returning 2-year starter expecting to play, and then once she was ready, it's not as simply as you take the left field position back from a freshman, Michaela Nita, hitting over 400.
Right, and part of it is getting some of the rust off as well, and what a way to do it just a few days ago, and now she's in the starting lineup in the first Big 12 series here in Houston.
First at bat of this season was a home run. This is her 5th start of the season. And she fouls it back. She was more of a slapper, bunter her first year, maybe less so last year. Now she's standing in. And after hitting 1 home run in her first 2 seasons, Janiyah Thomas already with 3 homers and 14 at-bats in her 3rd season.
One of the ways they prepped for Texas was they had Hope Trotwine throw up balls. You've got an All-American on your coaching staff who can really bring the ball up, so they've been able to practice trying to lay off of some of that up stuff like Cavan throws.
That was a good pitch. Thomas was late. Here's Mandy Esman, the shortstop. Transfer from Michigan State. Esman 0 for 2 with the run scored last night. One hopper to shortstop. To second for 1, the relay not in time. A force out gets Smith.
And they tried to roll it defensively for the Horns and turn things around for them from their infield perspective, but the ball was hit firmly. But Esman can run. She's in the left-hand batter's box. She gets down there pretty quickly and makes herself safe.
Martinez over to Washington for the first out. And here is Amanda Carden. Carden is now the starting right fielder. A good story of patience and perseverance for the Houston captain. Great start of the season, had a good throw in right field last night. Eventually, the call was overturned as the umpires decided that Taria Coleman, the Houston catcher, impeded in the path of Jolie Mitchell trying to score from third on the tag up, but still a very good throw from Amanda Carden.
And she was actually involved in the other one that they took a look at when she was sprinting down to first base. The throw from third pulled her off, pulled Leanne Good off of the bag a little bit. Thanks, Matt. And she just barely missed the tag. We thought she might have caught her ponytail, so she was very involved in some of the changes, some of the momentum changes of the game last night.
New softballs for Terry Holt, the home plate umpire. 0-2 count on Amanda Carden. At the top of the order, Lair Boutte is on deck. I fouled it back.
That's a good protect there, 0-2. You really, as a hitter, have to really expand your zone, try to poke something out over the infield into the green. Keep yourself alive at the plate.
Bounce to the right side, difficult play, kept on the infield by Washington. Good throw over to first to Simmons, and the side is retired.
I thought that Kavan looked a lot better. I think that's consistent with what we...
Jamal Shedd, Ryan Elvin, Juwan Roberts, honored today. And then tonight, the baseball team, 6:30, takes on Baylor. Todd Whitting's team outlasted Baylor last night 4-3. So a productive day for baseball and softball. First game in the Big 12 for both teams producing a win.
And even on the rodeo side of it, Rodeo Houston with the professional cowboys and cowgirls here in town as well, along with Lainey Wilson.
Where you will be tonight.
Should be fun.
Blow your caverche, but you'll be ready to go tomorrow, I know that.
Absolutely, absolutely, should be fun.
Alyssa Washington, a 3-run homer in the first. That was the final batter that Tamaya Waiters faced before Smith came on. Alyssa Washington has now equaled her career high for home runs in a season. 2 this weekend, 1 last night, 1 today. This is into right center. Kennedy Thomas comes over for the first down.
This is probably the most crossed up I've seen Alyssa at the plate this weekend. I think she was looking for the ball in and just kind of had to flip her wrist on that pitch that was up and out.
Viviana Martinez. Lefty on lefty against Smith. Takes a strike. Martinez popped up into foul ground. First batter that Smith faced today. Mike White has known Viviana Martinez since her high school days. He was at Oregon. She was being recruited to Oregon, but decided to follow him to the 40 acres of Texas.
And she makes a good cut on that pitch there. Even though she's 0-2, that's probably the best swing that we've seen her make this weekend.
A miss smooth in the field is how Mike White described Viviana Martinez. Her dad from the Dominican Republic. And that goes up and away. We've seen so many good shortstops from Latin America. A little bit of swagger. How would you describe the way you played shortstop in Nebraska, Shay?
Definitely not like a player with swagger from the Dominican, but I tried to cover as much ground as possible, and that's one of the things that Coach White mentioned about Viviana was she covers so much ground. Sometimes it almost looks like she makes errors or commits errors, but she can cover almost between the hole and then behind second base when she's playing shortstop.
2-ball, 2-strike count here. Bounce to the right side. Boutte has it. Underhands to Cantu. 2 up, 2 down for Smith here in the third.
And Martinez has just not made very good contact this weekend thus far pounds the ball into the ground. Lair Boutte hangs out over at second base and makes a routine play for the second out of the inning.
Here's Bella Dayton. Takes ball one. She walked again in the first after walking twice last night. We're hearing that whistle in the Texas dugout. That's from Mia Scott, producing a sound. Good acoustics there from the Longhorn dugout behind third. #1 team in the country, having some fun on the third base side. And really their first adversity of the season was last night. Their only loss, 4-3, extra innings against a top 10 team in Stanford. An 8-run inning in the fourth for Houston. I think a shock to the system for the Longhorns.
Well, they've definitely, shown up with the bats so far this morning.
Popped up, shallow right. Lair Boutte backpedaling to make the catch. A nice inning for Shelby Smith.
Very good inning for Shelby. If she can get out of the inning in 15 pitches, they've all of the big bats, all of the big home runs that have happened both today and yesterday.
Boutte takes a strike. Boutte struck out in the first. Cavan has wobbled a bit by her standards, but has stranded 3. There's a line drive into left. Nice swing on 0-1. Boutte went down. With a flick of the wrist, drops it into shallow left.
This is some of those things that you see athletes that have this level of skill be able to make those changes in between at bats. She was looking up, she was looking away, and drove that ball out to left field for her first hit of the day.
Here's Kennedy Thomas, hit one back to the circle. Well fielded by Tegan Cavan. And that pitch just missed over the inside. Kennedy Thomas, the transfer from Cal. A very tough out here this season. Very dependable #2 hitter for Coach Vesely. On-base percentage at .565. Already set a career high with 9 steals this season, including a steal last night. And again, 13 walks for Kennedy Thomas with only 1 strikeout.
Yeah, this may be a good opportunity for them to look at playing a little small ball here, maybe punching something through. Showed the bunt there, but took a strike instead.
Now, Tegan Cavan celebrated her birthday February 28th through a complete game. Shut out only 2 singles at Texas State. And they needed that. It's one of those games where the Texas offense was held in check against a very good Texas State team. 1-0 win for the birthday girl, Tegan Cavan.
Count is even.
A bounce foul. Quite an efficient pitching line for Cavan. 94 pitches needed for the complete game shutout. 1 walk and 9 strikeouts.
I noticed Kennedy Thomas has some of her eye makeup on that's reminiscent for me for Michaela Edenfield with she's the catcher for Florida State, showing off some of those makeup skills.
Up and in, we had Katie Ray Brown in the booth. Had a blast with her, and she talked about Kennedy Thomas' love for this, and kind of brings a good energy to the dugout, a little bit of flair.
Right, yeah, a little bit of swagger, a little bit of pop.
Full count for Kennedy Thomas. Boutte is at first. Hit towards shortstop. To second for 1, the relay. Not in time. Another force out, another ground ball coaxed by Tegan Cavan as Martinez found Washington.
And Kennedy made great contact on this pitch. The ball was up and out, had a lot of velocity on it. She hit the ball sharply to Martinez. Martinez had the most small little bobble there. I don't even know if she would have fielded that clean if she could still get the speed of KT out on the double play.
Jasmine Rollin, the breakout game last night. 2 homers, 5 RBI. And you think about these Houston hitters, and you want to give a lot of credit to Nadia Taylor, first-year hitting coach for Michigan State, played at Texas, had 4 tremendous years, and taking nothing away from the previous stops for these transfer portal players. But they are thriving here in 24. There's a pop-up and a fair ball just inside the line. The stop sign is put up. A big turn by Kennedy Thomas. I think Coach Vesely read that well, as Bella Dayton was about 30 feet from third.
Well, this is one of those things when you're just hitting the ball well, it doesn't even matter if you make a little bloop single, kind of a seeing eyeball single out there to make yourself safe. Sometimes when you're out of your slump, you just can do no wrong.
Jasmine Rollin continues her tremendous season. Now it's 2 on with 1 out. Bree Cantu at the plate. That pitch is low. Base runners for Houston in all 3 innings. And now
Well, I think, too, they want to make sure everyone is on the same page, both with what's happening in the circle, but also with 2 runners on and 1 out.
Cantu takes up and away, 2 balls, no strikes. Feels like Kavan has hoped for Cantu to chase. She has a very good command of the strike zone. She walked her first time, now a 2-0 count. Cantu was gearing up for that one, and she fouled it off.
And she was really careful with her in her first at bat, staying away, a little bit further away and up and away. And she's coming down into her now. You know, I think Bree, this is a good time for her to hit those RBIs. She talked about with Coach Vesely, this is the most important role that she has, is to pick up those RBIs. And she's got 2 ducks on the pond now and has that opportunity right now.
Cantu had a really good season last year, 35 RBIs. She already has 30 this season. I think that shows the improved offense for Coach Vesely from last year to this season. Good take from Cantu. It's 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, just off of the plate. And Bree knows her hitting zone. She's a senior. She's going to be looking for something from Tegan that's right in her wheelhouse, right in her hot spot that she can drive here with 1 out.
Cantu lays off, and it's another walk. That pitch just missed a bit low. Now the bases are loaded for Taria Coleman.
This is one of those times you just bear down, find your rhythm, get your breathing set, get your call. Looks like the Longhorn defense is playing middle. Actually, they're playing in the middle part of the infield for Taria Coleman.
Coleman flied out to left, just missed a potential home run, was a little bit late on the offering from Kavan. Fastball just missed. She is missing, not by much, but enough to be called a ball.
Maybe ½ inch off of the plate or so, but still, you know, Taria's power is middle in, and it's certainly something we need to, you know, you need to be considerate of. But Kavan throws the ball so hard, she's just trying to saw her off on her hands.
It's already a season high with 3 walks. She walked 2 against UCLA in the opening weekend, a 3-2 win. Only outing with 2 walks before today was that outing. But I would say her command has still been very good today. She is sticking with the plan, nibbling, trying to get some chase from Houston. They've just had very professional at-bats.
Well, too, they've scored 12 runs 24 hours ago, less than 24 hours ago, so.
And that hits Coleman. She takes first. Houston on the board. Kennedy Thomas in from third.
And this looks like it just caught maybe the lower part of her sleeve, maybe her card, maybe it looks like it just hit the part of her card. We'll see if they take a look at that.
Shelby Smith at the plate, misses, and we saw Mike White check with his catcher Reese Atwood to ask if Coleman had leaned into it, but it was a very emphatic call by the umpire. The umpire, Terry Holt, really sold that, stepping out immediately without any reference to his base umpires making the call. Smith into right center, And it's in play off the glove of Henry. Rollins scores. RBI hit for Shelby Smith, and Houston has 2 runs on the board.
And she really got aggressive early in this at bat, was able to drive the ball to right center field and help herself out with some runs. Stays back. And I thought that she was going to come up with this play. Very good effort. Defensively, as a center fielder, that's one you can die for because you have your right fielder backing you up in the outfield.
Now Janiyah Thomas. Outside and low. Cantu on third. Taria Coleman on second. Smith at first. After her RBI single, and Kavan continues to fall behind these Houston hitters. Time called again by Reese Atwood. It is granted by the home plate umpire. 59 total pitches thrown, 29 strikes.
Yeah, in 3 innings, and we're still, 2 1/3 through this. It's quite a few pitches to be thrown this early in the game with the bases loaded. Reese Atwood just doing her job there as the catcher to try to slow things down a little bit for this freshman in the circle.
Mac Morgan getting loose down in the bullpen for Texas, a right-hander. Estelle Check, a left-hander who pitched last night. She's getting loose as well. 2-0 the count. Thomas takes over the outside.
Janiyah is going to look for something in her zone that she can drive. Just taking that last breath, relax her eyes, relax her hands, and let herself go here.
Hit to third, stepping on third, throwing to first, Mia Scott. It's a double play. Pitcher's best friend ends the 3rd inning.
And that's probably one of the best defensive plays that we've seen this weekend. Really
Maloney will get things going for the Horns. 9-1-2 in the 4th against Shelby Smith, who has really settled in nicely.
And she's got to be feeling good after getting an RBI at the plate in that last half inning.
2 2/3 out of the bullpen behind Tamaya Waiters. 2 hits, no runs, a walk and 2 strikeouts. Very efficient. Under 50 pitches so far for Smith out of the pen. That's over the inside. Down in the Texas bullpen, Estelle Check continues to get loose, the lefty. We also saw Mac Morgan warming up as Tegan Kavan labored through the bottom of the 3rd. Maloney showing bunt. And takes the ball. Maloney grounded out to second base her first time.
There is a little noise over in the Houston bullpen as well.
Taylor Edwards, Gigi Solis both getting loose. It'll be the season debut for either. Line drive into left field, a base hit. Maloney with good speed on first to start the 4th inning for Texas.
And this is where Texas can become pretty dangerous with all the speed, both on the base paths, but also here at the plate with this true freshman coming up that is from Dickinson, Texas.
Henry doubled, stole 3rd, and scored in the 1st inning. She struck out swinging against Smith her last time. A foul back by Henry. The future of Texas softball was the description for Mike White, the head coach.
This is key for her to be able to execute this small game. When you're thinking about bunting, you really have to commit to the bunt if that's what the call is being made.
Rollins very close at 3rd base. Henry not bunting, takes up high for a ball. Comparisons to Janae Jefferson for Caden Henry. Tall, strong arm. Trying to add to her range in center fields. A bluff of a steal at first by Maloney. The pitch misses. Coach White trying to get her to take more ownership in center. Sometimes a freshman eases into it. Sometimes it takes them a few years to really take charge out there.
Yeah, you need to be the captain of the outfield when you're hanging out in center.
Up and in for a ball, 3-1. You see Smith peering into the dugout to Hope Troutwine, her pitching coach.
You know, it looked like that ball knuckled a little bit. It was up in the zone. I don't know if she kind of lost her grip a little bit. I know she had a couple of wild pitches yesterday, or one pitch that hit Atwood.
Henry pops it up. We're all in hoping for a play. It's into the first row behind the Texas dugouts. Nice catch made. Looked like a fan holding a child in her left arm made the catch with her right arm. And she has, I think, a ticket as well. That's a spectacular play. She's asking for a little more applause.
Yeah, former D1 athlete there.
Henry lost the bat. The foul ball hit the umpire in the leg. Henry can't help but laugh as she retrieves her bat. I didn't see it in real time, but we watched the aftermath. There's a fan carrying about a 1-year-old child. As we see this smile from Henry, walking down the concourse. It bounced, and she made a nice bare hand play, I think with a ticket in that bare hand.
Yeah, tremendous.
Full count on Henry. She protects on 3-2. Maloney was off with that pitch.
Yeah, Henry's just looking for get something into the green to make herself safe and maybe push Maloney with her wheels over to third.
That's drilled to right center. And it's out of here. A line drive home run. The second of the weekend for Kaden Henry.
Really an amazing at bat here. She went from trying to lay down a bunt to hitting several balls foul to the left side, even getting some of the fans involved. I didn't think this ball was going to get out, Matt. It was absolutely scorched on a line, just a BB out to right center field and barely covered the fence.
Impressive swing there from Kaden Henry. Went to left field last night with a flick of the wrist for a home run. A double and a homer for Kaden Henry. And Texas restores its 5-run lead at 7-2. Mia Scott walked her first time. A rare strikeout her last time against Shelby Smith. Just the second time this season Mia Scott has struck out. Lifted to left center in the ballpark for Kennedy Thomas, and she makes a diving catch. I think she took a rounded route to that ball, and the wind knocked it down just a bit.
Yeah, I think she thought that was driven a little bit harder into left center field. But I looked up at the flag. The flag is actually swirling almost like it would be in a circular motion behind her from right to left field. But with her speed, she's able to track it down. Makes it a little bit more interesting play for the fans in Houston, but still gets the out.
Jolie Mitchell takes off speed for a ball. 2 infield hits for Mitchell, both around shortstop. A 4-hit weekend for the transfer from Notre Dame. Two balls, no strikes.
And you can see Smith being a little bit careful with her, considering the power she showed off last night. Just a really towering blast off of the video board. She's definitely ahead in the count here. We'll see if Mike White decides to give her the green light at all, since she's had the ball that was hit by her last night was on the left part of the H, and things shattered. Almost kind of reminded me of The Natural. I don't know if you remember that.
Of course.
Robert Redford movie. Didn't really get all the fireworks like they did in that movie, but it was a really, really well-hit ball.
Borderline pitch called a strike, 3-1 the count on Jolie Mitchell. And that one does miss. Mitchell aboard on a 5-pitch at bat. And Smith a long look back either at her catcher or the umpire or both.
Well, I think she was trying to be careful with her a little bit, trying to keep these runs to a minimum here in the 4th. Coach Troutwine out to chat with her as well. Coach Vesley on her way out to talk to the infield.
5 home runs this weekend for Texas, 3 last night in a 12-10 loss. Now 2 today, 3-run homer for Melissa Washington in the first, 2-run homer efficient. Last season at Notre Dame, Mitchell was 15 for 17.
That just tells you about her ability to read the play.
Reese Atwood. And it takes up and in. Atwood fly to the center field wall her first time. Line drive single into center her last. That was a smash up the middle past the dive of the shortstop Mandy Esman. Chop toward short. Esman, good hands, goes back to seconds. The out's recorded. The ball came out on the exchange. Mitchell is forced at second on the ground ball from Atwood.
Really great play defensively by Esman. Looks like they want to talk about it as well, but Esman really, this is a really difficult play to make as a shortstop to get it on that short hop. But she appears to be out to me. She just transferred it, lost the grip when she went to turn and throw it to first. There may be some discussion from Mike White about how close Lair was to the second base itself, whether when she received the ball, did she actually touch the bag or was she off of the bag? Sometimes in MLB, you kind of have that around the bag type of turn for 2.
Yeah,
I think what she's concerned about.
Yeah, some call it the neighborhood play, the
Right.
vicinity play. With instant replay now, that is a thing of the past. They will call it. Hard to tell there if Boutet's foot's still on the bag when she catches the ball, but Simmet stands in and takes a ball.
Well, too, you know, as the base runner, your job is to break up the double play, but also you want to protect yourself when you're the fielder.
Simmet's 1 for 2. Did not play last night. Starting first baseman today for Texas. Inside for a ball. .125 at bats last season. And 13 extra base hits.
Really, really good pitch again there by Shelby Smith, painting the black part of the plate. It's hard to hit that pitch. With a 1-1 count, I wouldn't be reaching for that either. She was waiting for something to come in a little bit further to her, but Shelby's staying on kind of her arm side of the plate, keeping the ball away.
Simmet's protecting on 1 and 2. I think the step for Simmet's to get more playing time might be limiting the strikeouts. Last season, 27 strikeouts, hit .272. She has power. But as we've seen all season, Texas is very good at getting on base, avoiding strikeouts. Lays off that pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, being very careful with her. You know, with having to protect with 2 balls and 2 strikes, you've got to really kind of expand your zone, and Shelby has been on the outer part of the plate the entire time. Makes you kind of want to look out there a little bit and drive it to right field.
She protects again on a good off-speed pitch. Fouled it off the front leg.
Yeah, keeping herself alive during this at-bat.
Atwood on first.
It's always nice to see the umpires give the hitters just a moment after they take one off of their big toe by wiping down an already clean home plate, making sure they feel well.
The 2-2 from Smith. Simmett's a good at bat, fouled that one off. Two-run home run from Caden Henry, a line drive just over the fence in right center. Responsible for the 2 runs in this 4th inning for Texas. Back towards the circle, Smith with an overhand throw, and the side is retired.
Yeah, I think Shelby did great on this. She kept the ball away, and forced Simmons to chase.
Texas gets 2 runs back on Caden Henry. The concourse behind first, Essman takes ball 1. I wonder how many at-bats today have started 1-0 for Houston?
Quite a few. I think she's going right after these hitters. She's got a 5-run lead. There's no reason not to.
Essman down to short, and she's retired. And that feels like one of those moments where Mandy Essman got herself out. Coach Vesely has said when she stays in her hot zone, she does well. That's a 1-0 pitch that looks like ball 2, and she grounds out.
Yeah, she really reached for that pitch, and then I enjoyed it because I get to see the great defensive play by Martinez out at shortstop for the out.
Here's Amanda Carden. She grounded out to second base her first time. And it's that balance for Houston. They're really making Kavon work. She needed just 66 pitches in a complete game against Louisiana back in February. No walks, 7 innings. It's foul back. Louisiana, of course, beat Oklahoma last weekend. So this is a pitcher that works quickly. She expects to be under 80 pitches or so, maybe under 90 for a complete game. Today, she is approaching 70 pitches. That's foul back.
Well, coming into the game last night, the team ERA for Texas was .68. And that just really tells you about the bats that Houston has, making this a really, really competitive, fun weekend.
0-2 the count on Amanda Carden. Good eye. Carden has not drawn a walk or struck out this season. Started the season as maybe the 4th or 5th outfielder battling for playing time. She's earned it, coming off a good weekend last year at Texas A&M Commerce. But now battling here at 1-2. And she lays off.
That's the pitch I would expect for Tegan Kavon to throw, is something up. You know, she's a power pitcher. She's got the rise ball, trying to get Amanda Carden to chase something up and out of the zone.
2-2. Nice pitch. First strikeout of the season for Amanda Carden.
And a really good variety here. She went up on that last one, and then she came down and in, took just a little bit of it off, got Amanda off balance a little bit, gets her to chase.
Third strikeout for Tegan Kavon. Now the top of the order for the 3rd time with Lair Boutte.
You know, consistently, Kavon is, especially to the left-handed hitter, she's starting them on the inner half and actually on not the black, but maybe even the dirt, really trying to get them to be sawed off the bat a little bit. She even went a little further in there on Lair Boutte, who's had some home runs this weekend.
2-0 the count. Boutte singled to left field her last time, struck out against Kavon in the 1st. And she takes a strike.
Now comes over the plate a little bit more with that, but stayed down in the zone thus far.
Mac Morgan, the right-hander, continuing to get loose down in the Texas bullpen. Estelle Check was getting loose earlier this inning. Outs towards shortstop. Viviana Martinez over to first. And a quick inning for Tegan Kavon.
Yeah, she really looks good. She's mixing things up, both with velocity and location this last half inning.
Last night, 3 2/3 so far today. Alyssa Washington watches that pitch miss, and we look back at One of the biggest swings today back in the first inning, Alyssa Washington against Tamaya Waiters, and this happened to be the last pitch thrown by Waiters.
Yeah, and she had seen a changeup in that previous pitch 1-0 and really just drove the ball over the fence. Tattooed the ball, really got out of the park quickly.
Washington takes strike one. She flied to center field her last time. 5 of the 7 runs for Texas coming via the long ball. Caden Henry, a 2-run shot in the 4th. And this explosive Texas offense, 64 runs in the first 5 games, setting a Texas program record for most runs scored in the first 5 games of a season. They have 5 players on the preseason Big 12 team, most in Texas history. A line foul, of course. So big time top 10 wins, 2 over then top 10 UCLA. They beat number 2 Tennessee. And then number 9 Stanford.
The win over UCLA was 16-0 and was the worst loss in UCLA history. Really says something about this Texas team.
And fouled off. Well, it's the mixed results.
I'll tell you what, Matt, I think one of the adults over there almost got smoked by that foul ball. Had to dive out of the way over on the grass berm.
You have to be careful. If you're beyond the netting, you must have your eyes on the field. PSA from the booth. Washington to center. Kennedy Thomas is back. She's at the wall, and she makes the catch. So cool, calm and collected there from Kennedy Thomas.
Yeah, she was just cruising right there in the warning track. The ball was a changeup that was hung. I mean, if they have it up in the zone, you really want to look at clobbering that ball. But again, Kennedy showing her expertise out there in center field, getting herself to the wall and making that play.
Washington, 2 homers this weekend, just missed her 3rd. Here's Viviana Martinez. It's over the outside. This team went to the Champ Series of the College World Series 2 years ago. I think a disappointing end to last year in the Super Regional, so extra motivation to get back to the promised land here in 2024.
Well, Texas expects to be in that final 8 that goes to Oklahoma City. There's no doubt about that. I mean, that's what they're ramped up for. That's why they picked up this pitcher. They returned 4 pitchers from last season. They brought back 81% of their power at the plate.
And that's just foul. And on the hands of Viviana Martinez. 8 of the starters back from last year's team. The entire pitching staff is back, plus the freshman Tegan Cavan. Tegan Cavan, predicted as the National Freshman of the Year by D1 Softball's Justin McLeod. She's lived up to that expectation so far. And a very tough schedule built by Mike White. You go on the road to UCLA. We mentioned all the top 10 wins already. They'll continue that tough schedule on Tuesday in Baton Rouge against LSU. Number 3 in the polls this week. Into center, Kennedy Thomas for out number 2.
And this is another good battle by Shelby Smith out there. She's really, before she was moving east to west, now we see her more changing velocities, trying to get these hitters off balance. We know Martinez is a tremendous hitter, but she's got her to be out every time, and actually wasn't on base yesterday either.
Martinez 0 for 3 today. Here's Bella Dayton. And she takes a strike. Dayton walked in the first, popped up to second base her last time.
Bella Dayton's from Wiley, Texas. I looked that up actually, Matt. It's just northeast of Dallas. But she loves her Italian heritage, learned Italian. Walk-up song is Italian, planning on traveling to Italy.
Loves her Italian food. Loves getting on base for Texas. 3 walks this weekend. But an 0-2 count here. Smith just missed.
And Smith knew that. I mean, she threw the ball exactly where she wanted to. Just grins back there at Taria Coleman, saying, hey, that's the spot we want to try to get her to chase 0-2.
Now 2 balls, 2 strikes, off-season wrist surgery for Bella Dayton. Tremendous speed from the left side. Hit to first, backhanded by Cantu. 3 up, 3 down for Shelby Smith.
Yeah, that's one of those innings you want to get. I think she got out of there in 12 pitches.
How she backs that up here in the 5th. Facing 2-3-4, beginning with Kennedy Thomas.
Yeah, Kennedy's been sharp at the plate. She's got the best batting average on this staff and also the best makeup.
0 for 2 today. Chop to the right side, charging Alyssa Washington, an all-glove flip. Over to the first baseman, Katie Simmons, for out number 1.
Yeah, not a bad idea considering Kennedy Thomas's speed down the base path. Making that transition might cost her a half a second, and she wanted to make sure to get that out.
She's really been coaxing some weak contact the last couple innings, starting with Mandy Esman on that ground out. She struck out Carden, got Boutte to ground out. 3 ground outs and a strikeout among the last 4 batters for Houston.
We'll see how Jasmine steps up here. Her bat has been on fire this weekend. And her last at bat was able to have kind of a seeing eye single over Mia Scott and landed in the green for make herself safe at first base.
Houston with only 3 hits today. Last night, 12 runs on 7 hits. Maximum efficiency for the Cougars. That 8-run 4th inning, the difference. Rowland takes low for a ball. Sixth season of college softball for Jasmine Rowland. Today her 212th game. Now it's to the right side again. Alyssa Washington, this time with the sidearm throw to Simmons. 2 ground balls to second, 2 down in the Houston 5th.
Yeah, and the captain's covering some good ground out there. She was playing her actually to kind of hit the ball more center field. So she was covering a lot of ground and made that play look very routine.
Rise ball, up ball pitcher coaxing a lot of ground outs. Explain that one.
I think there's just the variety that she's throwing. Also, you have to remember Coach Vesley.
Cantu to second, a line drive in a very quick inning.
Right. I think that was a 6-pitch inning to get out. But the key part to this is they're making her bring the ball down for fewer pop-ups.
A 1-2-3 Washington 3-run home run. Kaden Henry a 2-run homer. Tukin Kavan has really settled in, retiring 7 in a row. At a critical spot in this game, Shea Sloan, bases loaded, 1 down in the 3rd inning. 5-3 double play. Nice play from Mia Scott, stepping on third, throwing to first. Since that play, no base runners for Houston.
Yeah, timely hitting was key in that moment, and Mia Scott made a great play over at third base to snag that ball, tag the base, and get the out.
9-1-2 for Texas here in the 6th. Ashton Maloney leading off against Shelby Smith.
This is a dangerous part of the lineup. I mean, you don't want to say, hey, this is the 9-hitter, but everything that Maloney does, she does it with 2 strikes. So she forces Shelby to throw more and more pitches. She's 2-0 here, so she's going to be looking for her favorite pitch to slap.
Good bunt, very good in front of home plate. Coleman's throw is not in time. That is a magnificent bunt. It just dropped about 5 feet away from Taria Coleman home plate.
Yeah, this was you're really textbook. I mean, she kind of catches the ball with her bat, deadens it. The only person that can make a play on it is Taria. We know how athletic she is. She also plays shortstop. But Tremendous, tremendous, perfect bunt, textbook.
Unstoppable bunt there. She's on first base for Caden Henry. Henry takes ball one. Henry's had a great weekend. 2 for 4 last night with 3 RBI and a home run. 2 for 3 today. A 2-run home run to right. I don't know which home run is more impressive. She's running. Here's the throw from Coleman. The tag in time. They catch Ashton Maloney trying to steal seconds.
It might have been here that she should have been protected at the plate. Not sure that was a straight steal call. It might have been something she was just reading, but it was such a bang-bang play. Great throw by Coleman to get the out, and a nice hang by Essman at second base.
Pitch was a ball, 2 balls and no strikes for Caden Henry. You think about the 2 home runs this weekend, the flick of the wrist last night showing the opposite field power of the line drive. Which one impressed you more?
Man, that is a great question. I think the home run that she hit when she was down in the count and reached for the ball and hit it over left field, that kind of flick of the wrist, it really shows some of the power that she has.
She draws a walk here. Victoria Hunter will get a chance to pinch hit here for Texas. We have not seen any pinch hitters this weekend for Texas until this moment. A freshman getting an opportunity.
Mike White said that typically Hunter will come in if there's a situation where Maloney might be slapping to bring in a little bit more power to the plate.
Another Houstonian back in her hometown. Hunter went to St. Pius X on the north side of town. A freshman infielder. And fouled off. She's been excellent in her freshman season. 10 hits in 22 at-bats, 2 homers, 5 extra base hits. A Houston homecoming for so much of this Texas softball team.
Yeah, and she came out swinging on that 100th pitch by Shelby Smith. You know, coming off the bench, swinging that bat.
Outside for a ball, 1 strike on Victoria Hunter.
It's a little bit of an overcast day. Maybe those glasses that she's wearing makes her eyes relax a little bit so she tracks the ball a little easier.
And that's off the glove of Coleman. It's a foul ball. It just glanced the bat of Hunter.
Yeah, Taria's trying to shake that one off a little bit. It kind of looked like it ricocheted a little bit off of her bat and got Taria along the forearm. I'm sorry, got her in the left hip, kind of in the torso area. Bounced off just below where her chest protector is.
Just missed. A bit low. Again, that's a pitch that maybe is called a strike when she's at Sit and Hall, but now in the Big 12, tighter strike zone, called the ball.
Yeah, she's trying to sit on the black part of the plate, 1-2 count. She just really wanted that call, but it was a really good pitch on her part.
Foul back, best swing of the at-bat there from Victoria Hunter, with Caden Henry trying to steal seconds.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't see Mike White put on a hit and run, so that must have been a straight steal and a swing.
2-2 on Victoria Hunter. She's running again, pitches outside, throw down, and it's rolling into right, picked up by Boutte, a steal of second for Caden Henry.
And this is an opportunity for the Longhorns to put pressure on the defense. Coach Vesley's going to come out and chat a little bit with the umpire on that play, maybe whether she left the bag early. Again, changing the momentum of the game. Coach Vesley mentioned, you know, that's one of those things that we want to try to do.
Second look. Tracy Laycock, the third base ump. And she's out, leaving early. Caden Henry is caught. A good challenge there from the Houston dugouts.
Yeah, and that's heads-up ball there. I'm not sure if it was Bree, maybe one of the coaches. Lair Boutte is always in on some of those things as well to make sure everybody's following the plan.
Now 2 down. The count is 2-2 on Victoria Hunter. Base is now empty for Shelby Smith, who's now worked 5 full innings out of the bullpen behind Tamaya Waiters. It's hit to left center. Over comes Janiyah Thomas. She cannot get it with the full dive. Good backup from Kennedy Thomas. Her throw to second holds Victoria Hunter to a single.
This tells you how important leaving the base early and how important those individual runners are once you get them onto the base path. It's very possible, especially with especially with Henry's speed, she might have been able to challenge that at the plate for another run for the Longhorns. Really good at bat, though, by Hunter.
There's Jolie Mitchell. They continue to pitch her away. Maybe thinking about last night's long home run off the video board. She has 2 infield hits today, plus a walk. 2 hits last night, both for extra bases. She has been consistent in that 3-hole for Texas. Just out in front, home run distance, but too early from Jolie Mitchell.
Mike White talked about she doesn't have the best swing, but she knows how to get on. I don't mind her swing. I think she's doing great. But, you know, he expects her to be on base at least 2 times a game. We'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, she also goes rogue on the bases, according to Mike White. Says she'll steal on her own once in a while. Played third base in Notre Dame. She's moved to first. And after the high pitch, pops it up to shortstop. Mandy Essman makes the catch. Yeah, nice work out of the bullpen today. 5 2/3 innings for Shelby Smith.
Very good work and able to get. Mia Scott was over there earlier. She was hit for by Hunter. And now Jolie is in at third where she played over at Notre Dame. Comfortable place for her, feels like home.
Taria Coleman trying to get the offense going for Houston. Tegan Cavan has retired 7 straight hitters. There's a bunt from Coleman. Cavan to first in time. Nice play from Tegan Cavan to get the fleet-footed Taria Coleman.
Yeah, this is a really good play by Cavan, or excuse me, by Shelby Smith. But the important thing about this, Coach Vesley is going to go over and chat a little bit, but this week in practice, they talked about if you're going to bunt the ball, try to bunt the ball toward the first base side, because generally your third baseman is your best infielder for the bunt. But Cavan played that very well and made the out. She's just going to check and make sure they didn't miss something to give the Cougs a runner at first.
8 straight retired. We see the play on this bunt from Coleman.
Yeah, got a lot of dirt, got a lot of height, and that bounce is what gives her a chance to be safe.
First look at the replay, looks like the proper call. Almost like an onside kick from Taria Coleman, get a high bounce off the dirt.
Agree. If you can get something to bounce, and that's why slappers can be so successful when they pound it into the dirt. The ball spends the time in the air, and they have an opportunity to be safe.
The last base runner against Tegan Cavan comes to the plate. Shelby Smith fouls it off. She had the RBI single that kept the bases loaded. Janiyah Thomas was next. She hit it to third base. Mia Scott stepped on third, threw to first. That ended the inning, and Houston has not had a base runner since. It feels like that bases loaded moment really got Tegan Cavan going in the circle.
Well, we were talking in the 4th inning that she was already at like 66 pitches, And now that we're in the 6th inning, she's only at 84. So she's been able to control the hitters a little bit and keep her pitch count relatively low here in these last few innings.
Yeah, and it feels like after trying to get Chase up in the zone, she's working down in the zone, getting a lot of ground balls off these Houston bats. She stays low there, hits the inside. But I think Shelby Smith's had some of the best swings against Kavon today of the entire Houston lineup.
Agree with you, and she's got 2 strikes here, so she'll have to open and protect a little bit all those border pitches that she would like get called for her when she's in the circle too.
There's a rope off the glove of Viviana Martinez into shallow left. Another hit today for Shelby Smith.
Yeah, and she's really gotten a good look at Tegan today. And you said earlier about a frozen rope, and I think this is one of those that she just rips and a frozen rope. We know how good Vivia is at shortstop, but really could have squeezed that and maybe still made the out for her teammate.
Not a prototypical 2-strike swing against Tegan Kavon. She really let it rip. That was an impressive swing there from Shelby Smith.
Absolutely. It looks like they're going to pinch run for her over here with Jordy Wilkins.
Jordy Wilkins in to run, great speed. We saw her last night, but I'm very impressed on a 2-strike approach. Some hitters will shorten up. Shelby Smith did not shorten up at all. It was like she was swinging at a 2-0 pitch.
Agree. She's coming out swinging, and she's been able to track the ball very well, so her confidence level is high at the plate.
Janiyah Thomas takes the strike. And Thomas hit into that 5-3 double play. Mia Scott stepped on third, threw to first. As Kavon escaped the bases loaded jam, Thomas struck out swinging her first time. Just missed. A long hold
pitch
that time from Reese Atwood, showing it for an extra second to the home plate ump Terry Holt.
Yeah, really good pitch, really good location, and good job by Atwood behind the plate. I was convinced that was a strike as well from our angle.
Bounce to the right side, kept on the infield. Alyssa Washington, a spectacular play for the second out.
And the range she has out there at second base is absolutely nuts. I mean, for a lot of times, Simmons might have been able to backhand that ball if it wasn't hit so sharply, but Alyssa Washington was still able to get herself over there and make the out. Not just make this awesome diving catch, but also to get up and have enough awareness to throw a strike to her first baseman.
Mandy Esman, big swing. Badly fooled. I love the range there from Washington. She had the timing, the perfect hop. Every infielder has a different routine, but she's off both feet, perfectly timed to move to her left to keep that play on the infield.
And some of that advantage comes from knowing where the pitch is supposed to be and the pitcher actually executing it so you know where to kind of place yourself, maybe which way to lean, depending on the pitch location.
Mandy Esman 0 for 2 her last time against Kavon. She had a 1-0 count, seemed to chase a pitch low and away and grounded out to shortstop. She chased that one and she goes down on strikes. Great defense from Alyssa Washington. And then baseball taking on Baylor. Men's basketball has clinched at least a share of the Big 12 title. They can clinch an outright championship against Kansas in about an hour. It's Reese Atwood to lead off the 7th here for Texas against Shelby Smith. Atwood, Simmons, and Washington. Smith has been very effective today. Just 2 runs allowed in 5 2/3 innings out of the bullpen.
Ooh. She almost took out her coach with that foul ball. He had to jump out of the way and get on his toes pretty quickly. She enjoyed that one a little bit. Coach White talked about how she's kind of like a golden retriever. She's had very impressive offensive numbers. She's super relaxed behind the plate. Kind of reminds him of the Olympian Aubrey Monroe.
A foul back. You could tell Atwood expected more on that swing, frustrated after she fouled it off.
Well, I think that says something about the analytics, the things that the coaches and the pitchers are able to study about these different hitters. And the further you go on in the season, you know more about kind of where their sweet spot is that they're looking that you can avoid.
That one gets away. In the bottom of the 7th, Houston has 9-1 and 2 due up. Amanda Cardin, Lair Boutte, and Kennedy Thomas. Atwood is 1 for 3. A rocket single up the middle, line drive past shortstop for her one hit.
She tried to go upstairs and get her to chase that one with that rise. She's not thrown many rises in the last inning or so. She's been down, again, working east to west. The previous inning, she was going up, down. So she's keeping them on their toes.
Up the middle off the glove of Smith. Esman throws to first. Nice play off the glove of Smith, and Esman with the cannon to first to get Reese Atwood.
Yeah, this is a key play. This is maybe one of those that you want to look, say, maybe this is top 10 play of the weekend, but this ball is hit very well. Shelby was able to get the ricochet, and Esman adjusts herself a little bit and then throws a dart to get Atwood out at first.
A perfect timing. We saw the footwork from Alyssa Washington in the bottom of the 6th. You see Esman leave her feet as Simmons takes ball 1. She leaves her feet, hopping as she catches to save every second to get to first.
Yeah, she's just getting rhythm with the pitcher. You're supposed to, it kind of helps you get kind of up on your toes to be able to read the play a little bit. And defensively, you're always looking at where the pitch crosses the plate. That gives you an idea of where the trajectory of the ball is going to travel.
And that's a called strike. Out of the mitt of Coleman, but still called a strike by Terry Holtz. As Simmons, RBI single in the first, a line drive back up the middle. Also a foul pop-up and a comebacker back to Shelby Smith.
Yeah, and Shelby's just trying to stay away from her again. We saw this in her previous at bat and made Shelby successful the last time, but she's staying down in the zone with her and down and away. And we've seen Taria each time kind of try to frame the ball on the outer part of the plate, the arm side there for Shelby.
Hit hard, another hit for Simmons. Past the outstretched glove of Jasmine Rollin.
And these Longhorn hitters, both of these last 2 balls that were hit very sharply. Jasmine plays some excellent third base over there, but she just smashes it right past her without an opportunity for her to even get any leather on that ball.
Here comes the captain, Alyssa Washington. Dia Wallace will pinch run at first base. We saw Adea Wallace pinch run last night. Good speed at first for the Plano native. Washington, one of the biggest swings of the day, a 3-run homer off Tamaya Waiters in the first inning. This is drilled to center field. Thomas is back. It's gone. On the first pitch, Washington to straightaway center. Her second of the day, her 3rd homer of the weekend.
Yeah, she really just teed off on that pitch. The pitch was middle part of the plate, a little elevated, and she hit that ball dead center right over the top of Kennedy Thomas's head off the Houston Cougars sign. The ball got out of here very quickly, maybe a second and a half for it to travel that 200 and so feet. Give herself 2 more RBIs for the weekend.
A new career high 6 home runs on the season. Had 5 2 years ago. Viana Martinez takes ball 1. It's so nice for Texas. You have Washington hitting 6 in the order. 2 homers today, 5 RBI, a 3-run shot in the first, a 2-run homer here in the 7th. Feels like Martinez does not like that inside pitch. We've seen her look at a few of those. Maybe she thinks they're missing or she doesn't want to offer at it, but that seems to be a spot Houston's tried to attack today.
And it makes it easy for Shelby Smith. That's her arm side. She's just trying to stay on the part of the rubber from her to really, really get the ball in tight on her hands. It's hard to get extension when you've got something coming at you 60, 65 miles an hour to get your hands through and get your timing.
She chased that one there. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, she went up in the zone with her. She'd been moving kind of east to west, and now she went up. When the ball goes up, your eyes goes up, and it's hard to lay off of that pitch. Tried to do the same thing again there to get her to chase. Full count here.
9 runs for Texas, 7 runs through the long ball. 3-run homer for Washington, 2-run homer for Henry, another 2-run homer for Alyssa Washington here in the 7th. Up the middle, a base hit. Martinez will take a turn and stop at first.
And this is the first time that we've seen Martinez put the bat on the ball as well as she has this weekend. And she's kind of talking about that, getting her rhythm a little bit, but she finally got her rhythm, was able to get her hands through for her first single.
All Big 12 freshman team last season. Had a slump early in the season, according to Coach White. Ryan Brown, the freshman, will get her first at bat of the weekend. Batting in the place of Bella Dayton in the number 8 position for Texas. Brown from Thompson's Station, Tennessee. 5th at bat of the season for Ryan Brown, looking for her first collegiate hit.
Did notice her today when she was warming up with the team that she's a infielder. I'm assuming she's probably a first baseman based on the position and the balls that she was taking in the infield in pregame.
Watches that one miss outside. And oftentimes these type of pinch hit rolls are, you're matching the swing type to the pitch type of Shelby Smith. So probably a good matchup here for Ryan Brown. Jammed a bit into shallow left center. Essman makes the over-the-shoulder catch for the second out. Martinez back to first.
Really good defensive play, but also actually a pretty good at bat by the freshman. Mike White's trying to get her some experience in there, and she kind of muscles that ball out there, just kind of deep shortstop. Essman's able to track it down to get the out.
Another pinch hitter here for Texas. Jordan Whitaker will pinch hit. A senior from Jacksonville High School in Texas. Open stance, tiptoeing the far edge of the right-handed batter's box. Her 4th season with Texas, her best season came as a freshman when she hit .358. 1 hit and 5 at bats so far this year. That just missed.
Yeah, and Jordan is one of those hitters with a lot of power, high slugging percentage, has had 7 home runs in her career. This open stance, you know, it allows her to kind of get both of her eyes turned toward the pitcher. It also, sometimes it's surprising, but she might like the ball out over the plate where she can get full extension.
Out in front of that, grounds it foul past third. 1-2 the count. Shelby Smith, 6 1/3 innings behind the starter Tamaya Waiters. Paris Lehman has had the jacket on the entire game. I think the plan was to hold her out today and bring her back tomorrow, most likely as a starter in game 3. I fell back.
Yeah, good battle at the plate here, 1-2 count. I think Shelby Smith was looking to go up to try to get her to chase.
I would guess that Lali Gutierrez would start. You never quite know with the deep pitching staff for Texas, but given her track record, I don't think she's going to lose that opportunity after a tough first inning last night.
Right, especially when you've got LSU coming up 24 hours after on the road on Tuesday in Baton Rouge.
1-2 on Whitaker with 2 down in the 7th. Well out in front of that one.
Boy, she might have tagged one of the school trains over there with that one. It landed on Scott Street at the convenience store parking lot with that foul ball.
9 runs, 13 hits, 5 left on for Texas. Lays off the high one.
This is a good battle here. It's, you know, the count's 2-2. It's evened up. It's 2 outs, but this has been one of the longest at bats that we've seen against Shelby Smith.
Off speed, taken for a ball. The count is full.
Yeah, they're going to be motoring when it comes when the ball is live out of her hand with 2 outs.
Viviana Martinez will get a head start at first base. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And she walked her. Good at bat from Jordan Whitaker. She fell behind and then draws the free pass.
Yeah, very good at bat. That's something to be said. You know, the senior coming in off the bench is something that you can learn from as a freshman. You got a freshman Hunter coming up on deck, and that's a great at bat by someone with a lot of experience here at Texas.
Maloney will re-enter as the pinch runner. She was lifted for Whitaker, the pinch hitter, who drew the walk. And now Caden Henry gets to hit for a 5th time today. She's been outstanding. 2 hits last night, a home run. 2 more hits today. A double in the 1st, a line drive laser out to right center in the 4th. She walked in the 6th.
She's just got so many tools at the plate, and she's tracking the ball down in center field. And really the future of the University of Texas softball is how Mike White described her.
Launched her 6th home run of the season. That line drive that left the yard in less than 2 seconds by our unofficial estimation.
Yeah, we didn't have a clock on it, but it got out of here quick.
The wind has died down after a windy day. The American flag in right center is motionless. Funny how that can change on a dime. It was about 25-mile-per-hour gust this morning.
Yeah, a lot more sunglasses are out, even with the fans that are in the stands. Sun's trying to peek through a little bit here at the stadium.
Off speed taken by Henry for a ball.
I was just looking at the defense. I mean, Houston's lined up for her to either pull the ball or her to push the ball and really open right through the middle of the field.
Yeah, especially on the infield. Good look there from that angle. Espin towards third. A called strike there, 2-1.
Another opportunity for this young freshman to add up some more RBIs for her for this weekend.
Fouled off a happy homecoming for Caden Henry. Went to Dickinson High School on the south side of town.
.142 pitches into the day for Shelby Smith. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Always a difficult count.
She lays off. She has a tremendous eye. We've talked about the tools, the power, the speed, a great awareness of the strike zone.
Yeah, and she tried to get her to chase. That was a little off-speed up. Sometimes you think, well, if they hang it, let's bang it, but the ball was so far off of the plate that she was able to take that pitch, take it to a full count.
Bounce to the right side. Boutte flips to first just in time.
Yeah, Lair Boutte hangs out over there at second base. Really tremendous second baseman on this field this week.
And the first pitch is fouled back by Dumas, who, like Mandy Esman, is a transfer from Michigan State.
Yeah, Coach Vesley talked about how well she controls her barrel head. So many line drives come off of her bat.
3 hits and 19 at bats. I think she is a example of the batting average not necessarily dictating her playing time. She's had good at bats, loud contact. Check swing down to third. And it's a wide throw past first. And Jolie Mitchell, her first opportunity since entering the game at third base, and a wide throw past the first base back.
Well, you never know what's going to happen in this game, and this was an excuse me. It makes herself safe at first base.
Just a second after I said she's had loud contact a lot this season.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, things can change just in a moment. But sometimes those little excuse me swings will get you safe and make it look like it was a rocket shot in the gap.
Second error today for Texas. Pinch runner is Paige Holsey at first base. Good speed at first. Talking with Hope Troutwine as Lair Boutte steps in. Boutte a single in the third, 1 for 3 today. As Tegan Cavan goes for her 4th complete game of her freshman season. But this one she's had to work for. Approaching 100 pitches. We talked earlier about the efficiency of her previous complete games. On her birthday, 94 pitches to beat Texas State in a 1-0 game. Master efficiency against Louisiana, February 23rd, 7 innings, 6 strikeouts, 2 hits, no walks to 66 pitches needed to dispatch the Cajuns.
Yeah, and as a freshman, she's just been so composed this game. We saw her bring the ball down kind of in the earlier innings, or excuse me, the middle innings, but she's starting to bring the ball up and elevate the ball a little bit here with Lair Boutte at the plate.
On Monday against Penn State, gave up a home run in the first inning, came back and did not allow a run the rest of the way for another complete game. That one misses outside, 2-2. And I will say, we talk about the composure with her. She never really asks for the call. She never really argues with the umpire. That one misses, and it's a stoic stare. She gets the ball. She's ready to go again.
Yeah, I mean, she spends about 7 to 10 seconds is what I've measured between each pitch.
And she gets the call that time on the outside edge.
Yeah, that 101st pitch was really, really something that got Lair Boutte off balance, able to get that strikeout. And she just crossed her up here. Not often that we see Lair get that crossed up. It says something about this young freshman in the circle.
One out for Kennedy Thomas, squib toward short. Viana Martinez takes the sure out at first. Thomas retired on 1 pitch. Paige Holsey moves to seconds.
Yeah, another great play by the shortstop defender for the Longhorns. Makes that, it really is. I think Coach White had it perfect. Miss Smooth out at shortstop. I've enjoyed watching her play there today.
Last chance for Houston's Jasmine Rollin. 2 homers, 5 RBI last night. She takes a strike. Rollins 1 for 3 today. Cavan in position to improve to 9-0 with her 4th complete game. Good take that time from Rollin.
Yeah, that was a borderline pitch there. Good off speed too. We've seen her throwing the ball so hard in the 70s. That was probably a 55-mile-an-hour pitch. And
very interesting for an up ball pitcher. She can work throughout the zone, but I think her best offerings tend to be up in the zone. She's only allowed 2 fly ball outs off the bat of Houston as Coach Vesely calls time.
Yeah, I think Coach Vest thought that might have been a ball. Wants to just chat with him a little bit. I don't think JR was too concerned about it. She's just going to go ahead and get up there and take her rips. Big pitcher's advantage here with a 1-2 count.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hit to first. Simmet steps on the bag, and Texas bounces back impressively today after last night's defeat. They respond with a 9-2 win over Houston this afternoon.